rolling here. I hope everybody has their wristband that they received, and we'll get it started. So we're gonna have a couple of speakers come up, just give you guys some resources and some feedback on what the community of East Chicago is doing to help cultivate and grow the autism community. And then we'll have some food and kind of mingle and meet and greet with police officers, and then we'll finish off. And if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please let us know. Raise your hand. It's kind of going to be like an open dialogue, open discussion. So to start off, we have Miss Gilda Orange, who works for North Township Trustee's office, and she's also a councilwoman here in East Chicago. Gilda?
Thanks everybody for coming out. I kind of wish it had been more families, but for every family that we touch is one more family that we didn't have, and we're glad that the people came out, and I hope that you spread the news of the good things that are happening with this bracelet. As she said, my name is Gilda Orange, and my grandson is Justin. He was passing out the little junior police badges, and Justin is autistic. And if any family knows, it is very a challenge, and it's not just for the challenge for the parents and the siblings, it's also grandparents and friends that have to help out whenever it's necessary to be with children that has disabilities, whether it's autism or just any disability. There was a news program that said that they were starting a program in Oak Brook, Illinois, that had a bracelet program for children with autism, and that if they were in conjunction with the police department and they had a bracelet program, and that this program was going to be a program to help kids and make sure that our children with autism and disabilities stay safe, along with helping police officers so that none of them ever got caught in a situation where they hurt a child with autism because they didn't know the difference between autism and any type of aggressiveness. And I happened to mention it to Frank, and he said to me, if you feel that strongly about it, I will make it happen. And I'm gonna tell you, I cried that day because me and my son Justin had talked about this for a long time, hoping that we could get something, and I didn't think it would come to pass, and today is a good day. And for somebody to believe in you as from an employer to an employee, to say that I will make it happen for you, if you believe in that program that much, I have to give him a lot of thanks, because I know that it wouldn't have happened without him. And a lot of time and energy has been put into this program. I thank Rosie and Tavell and Mayor Copeland and Chief Rizzardo, people that have come along and say, hey, this is a good program. I'd like to, I would just say, as a community, we have to continue to network. We have to, I saw a shirt one day that this person said, don't ask me if I'm autistic. If you have to ask me, then you don't know the world. And that is very true. A lot of times we look at kids differently, but it's so much autism in the world. I never knew that. I think it's 1 out of 4 children that are autistic, and they have different disabilities. And as an autistic family, we have to stay together so that we can fight for our children and grandchildren, because if we don't fight for them, nobody else will. I thank you for allowing me to have a couple of words, and I will turn it back over to Rosie.
Thank you, Miss Gilda. Thank you for taking the initiative. And I think when it comes from the heart and it's somebody that you know, you love and care about, it's so much deeper. So next, from the city of East Chicago, we have Mr. Milton Reed, who works directly with Mayor Copeland.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I would like to say to Councilwoman Orange, very heartfelt words. We definitely appreciate your words. I'm here on behalf of Mayor Anthony Copeland, and generally I talk to the mayor about mid to late morning just about every day, but he called me first thing this morning, and he said you know, and sometimes I speak to him from time to time, and I have a general idea of what we're going to do. But he told me, he said, make sure the first thing I want you to do is you tell the parents, each and every parent, to stay encouraged. Stay encouraged, because we are a family, we are a community, and no one really knows what you're going through other than you. But you've been advocate, keep being the advocate for your child. Keep being the advocate for your child. You know, the entire family. So every grandparent, every aunt, every uncle, he says, the first thing you tell those parents is that I commend and I applaud you. Stay the course. And as a city of East Chicago, we will have resources available to help out wherever we're called on, wherever we're needed. So that's a message direct from the Mayor Copeland, and I think we should give him a hand for that. And then further, just to let you know, is that further on in our conversation, you know, we were talking about different things that the city can do, and he was basically saying, let everyone know, this is not, you don't just have to call me if you want me to speak or want me to show up. He says, you know, even if it's a shared vision, the city has the resources to make some of these visions come to fruition. And he says to each and every one that he will make these resources available. Don't put him on the sideline. Put him in the middle of whatever is needed. And it could be something as small as a meeting room. It could be resources for other programmers partnering with Mr. Mrvan. Whatever it is, the City of East Chicago is with you 100%. I thank you for your time and your attention. Anything, you can call the mayor's office direct, come in, get an appointment. He is fully accessible to you, and he wants to know that East Chicago is not behind you. East Chicago is with you all of the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Reed. Lastly, but not least, we have Mr. Frank Mrvan, who, with Gilda Orange and the help of the team at North Township, put this bracelet program together.
So I'm going to try and be brief and to the point. One, I want to commend you for all being here. And two, I want to make sure I give credit to where credit is due. But what I have learned is through personal experience with my daughter, she had something that's called Guillain-Barré, where one day she woke up and she could not move her arms and her legs. And she went to a Catholic school. And the Catholic school didn't have the facility didn't have accessibility to the second floor or the third floor, and she had to be homeschooled. And I remember seeing my wife advocate for my child. And what I've learned is there is no barrier, no wall, no obstacle, no fire a parent will run through for their child. And so with that, when Gilda came to me and sat at a table and talked about being able to remove barriers and be able to build a bridge between the autism community and the police department in order to have the outcomes of reducing results and incidences, I thought there would be no other way to compliment Gilda's hard work at the township and Justin's hard work at the police department to say we are absolutely in and we will use our resources. Mayor Copeland welcomed us with open arms and was an instant partner along with the East Chicago Police Department, along with the school city of East Chicago and Miss Aguilera Pohl, who is an angel. Please give her a round of applause for everything that she's done for us. So what I want to do is quickly walk through the timetable because the story is very important. What prompted me to take action along with Gilda is there are a couple things that you need to know. The Police Chief Association of America made this one of their top initiatives to reduce incidences, to make sure that the police departments were aware of how to best approach people with autism or special needs. That's one. Two, there was actually an incident in East Chicago, and I can't remember her name, but there was a gentleman who had autism, who was on the spectrum, who wasn't very verbal, who was taking care of his father, who had cancer. He went near the state line to get medication for his dad, accidentally rolled through a stop sign, was arrested. The policeman assumed that he was intoxicated or under the influence of drugs, and he was arrested and spent time in jail while his father worried about him and he couldn't get in touch with him, while his sister looked for him. They were able to locate him, and these are East Chicago residences that told me this story. And what our goal is to reduce those incidences. So the timeline is that the police department was trained, on how to approach and how to best access someone with autism. What we did in the Township Trustee's office is we worked with the police department with dispatch of people who will sign up and be able to be part of this program, so that a marker will go up if there is an escalation where you need to call the police. When the police arrive, they know that they are coming to a home with someone with special needs, and they have the proper training. The other side of that is Elena from the Autism Society of Lake County, who is behind us, which is a subsection of Autism of Indiana, put together these boxes, which are called sensory boxes, which is a stress ball and other things that the policeman can take into a situation that's escalated. Your name, sir?
Jasper.
They should be called the Jasper boxes. Because at the meeting, Jasper was talking to us. May I tell your story?
Yes.
Jasper talked to us and said at some points when he got frustrated, you were somewhat violent, right? And now you wrestle and box. But when the question was asked in front of the policeman, what reduces your stress when you're at an escalated level? He said a stress ball, right? You absolutely said the stress ball will take you from point A to a point of relaxation. So now every police car, based on the collaborative effort of all of us coming together, will have these sensory kits, or Jasper kits, that will be able to, in some small way, make a link between the policeman and the autism community. And the policemen don't want to be in those situations, and the families don't want to have to call when there's escalation. It's a lose-lose situation for everyone. But if we think through things and have a plan and a strategy, we will get the best results and the best outcomes. So today is a little bit about a celebratory moment. And more importantly, we need your help to sign up other families. And we're going to continue to grow. We have a walk on August 3rd at Wicker Park, which is for the autism. Currently, we have 492 families that are signed up. You know, our goal is to get as many as 1,000. But here's the main thing that you need to know and you should walk away. This is more than a giveaway. This is more than meeting at the school system. This is about you understanding and walking away here knowing you are not alone. That Mayor Copeland in the City of East Chicago, Ms. Aguilera-Pohl in the Special Needs Department in the school city, the Autism of Lake County with Elena, and the North Township Trustee's office is trying to and is going to do everything we can to advocate for you and your families. And what I've learned about my job is that I do not have a trunk full of unicorns and magic wands. I cannot make simply everything beautiful. But what we can do is stand next to you and use our resources, just like Mr. Reed talked about. Use our resources to help advocate for you. And so keep that in mind. Does anyone have any questions for anyone here? Because you guys are the most important people in the room. No? Anyone at all? Yes.
This program only for East Chicago City?
No. If it's within the township, which is Hammond, Whiting, East Chicago, Highland, and Munster. Okay?
So why that's the same program?
Yes.
We got the same classes?
We are working with them. We started off here, but we have had commitments from those cities that they're going to do it also. Okay? And why we start off in East Chicago, as I often tell Gilda, is because if you can be successful in East Chicago, I know you can be successful anywhere. And I always say that. Any other questions? All right, we also have, which isn't that important to me, but Jasper. Jasper, if you have a moment, straight there, Michelle, if you can raise your hand.
Hi, Jasper.
Hello.
Michelle Quinn is a reporter from the Post-Tribune, so if any of the parents want to tell a story on anything, she is here to be able to listen and make you guys media stars. But again, no, yes, Gilda.
Can you explain to them how
The bracelet works.
especially for children?
Yes. Okay. So I did shorten and abbreviate what we're doing. But the whole program is not only are the policemen trained, and we also have training for the parents on what to expect if a policeman arrives, but we are handing out bracelets that anyone can sign up for, which can go on the wrist or on the shoe. That would be a number, and that number would be affiliated with the individual, and it would have their information and their address, because we all know the fight or flight syndrome, right? So someone with autism, if there is a trigger, sometimes it's either fight or flight. And so a policeman who's approaching will know where that individual lives and be able to be a safety mechanism for the autism community, that they know that those individuals have an identity or an identifying marker that says, this is where we live and this is where we dwell. And so what you have covered is you have the address in the system, which the whole country is going towards, and there are even apps that can do that. If you have someone with special needs, so when a policeman or a fireman arrives, they know how to handle that situation. Secondarily, you have the community engaged on what to expect if a policeman comes. And then we have direct assistance to the individual with special needs to make sure that they have the bracelet in the event that they need to have some sort of identifying number with them that goes back to that address and back to that family. Did I do a good job explaining that? Okay. Am I missing anything, Gilda? Are you sure? Okay. Yes.
Can you talk to them about when they move or when they change their phone number, how they should contact or what should happen? I think that's really important.
Right. Rosie would like to do that.
Oh, I said, no.
Oh.
Look, okay. So if you guys have an address change, if you have a phone number change, please contact us directly and we'll be able to change it and contact the E911 database so that they will be able to update that in the system so that the police officers have the most accurate information when a child does have an interaction with a police officer. So we will be making sure that we're checking the list periodically. We possibly could send a robocall and or call you guys directly and ask if there's any changes to the addresses, phone numbers, if there's any changes to the child's special needs or the child's special interest, so that we can make sure that this program is being proactive and efficient as possible.
And the other side of that, and this you want to, I'm going to do two things. If you have a pen or paper, you can write down my cell phone number. Rosie and Brittany, if you guys can raise your hand, they're part of our social worker team, and Mr. Tavel Grant is part of our social worker team. Why I mention that is because if you have an issue that you think you might need a social worker, the township has gone in that direction. So you can contact me at 219-746-5792. And that's my direct cell number. And someone will contact you and make sure that we assist you in some way. And so Gilda mentioned something, I'm going to close with this. In my small research, I try to be prepared for speeches. And autism, the definition of autism is a neurological disorder that causes verbal, nonverbal communication and social challenges. And so when you're faced with that, and you're a parent or a sibling or an uncle or an aunt, you want to make sure that you advocate for that child. And what I want you to know is that it's actually the CDC about a year ago put out statistics that now 1 in 68 children are on the spectrum. What you need to know is 8 years ago it was 1 in about 540. It's the fastest growing disability in our country, which is still unexplained, and they're still working for ways through nutrition, through all kinds of different ways to try and assist. But what you need to know is that the township office, again, the mayor's office, the school city, a lot of people in East Chicago are attempting and doing our very best and putting our actions forward to try and be united with you as a community. Do you have any questions for Elena?
No, but I do.
Yes.
You remember last time you spoke about the smart 911?
Yes.
Does that have to do with?
It's all one and the same.
All in the same.
So the Smart 911 will follow you, but you'd have to update the information. Our office is doing the same exact thing. So if you signed up for the program, we're getting it into dispatch, and dispatch does that. So it's Smart 911 is nationwide, and a lot of the police departments are rolling that out, where you can just go in on the app and place that in that you have special needs, and then that'll follow you when you call 911 from anywhere that you move to. All right, any other questions? Rosie, did I not mention anything?
Autism relay?
I mentioned that. Other than that, East Chicago loves its city, and the city tries to provide love along with the township in action. So please take our words and our deeds as a measurement of how we want to try and help you. Because very often you just get words. And also the school city of East Chicago. So know we are along with you for this journey, and we will try and work with you to make it a successful trip. Okay? Thank you all very much for being here.
We'd like to thank Channel 21, the Mayor's Office, Frank Mrvan, Chief Hector Rosario, because I mispronounced his last name earlier, and I'm sorry about that. But we'd like to thank them all for having this event today for the autism. It is very important, and we wanted families to know that they are not alone. Our biggest fan, Vanessa Hernandez Orange, couldn't be here today. She had emergency surgery, and I know that she wanted to be here. In fact, Justin had to make sure she didn't get out of the house. But we'd like to thank all the families and tell you that it's very important to sign up for the bracelet, because that can make a difference between life and death of a child. And also, it can make a difference in the police officers' livelihood and reaction and their job, because nobody wants to be on the front page of a newspaper and saying that they shot an autistic child or hurt an autistic child because they didn't know that child was autistic. So once again, thank you for that.
We would like to also encourage you on behalf of the East Chicago Police Department to make sure you utilize all the resources that are available to you through the North Township Trustee's office, as well as the Autism Society of Indiana. And if you have any questions or concerns, or you know some families, or you have family members that are that have autism and you would like them to sign up for our autism bracelet program, you can contact us at the East Chicago Police Department or the North Township Trustee's office.
And we do it for Justin.
I'm Deputy Chief Hector Rosario from the Chicago Police Department, here with the North Township Trustee for the Autism Awareness. Today's the kickoff for the bracelet. We're inviting as many families as we can to come out and register. If you have a kid with special needs, make sure you get out here, find out what services we have available for you guys, and take advantage of everything that we have. If you need anything, don't hesitate to call my office at the Police Department, area code 219-391-8400, and we'll be at your assistance, whatever you guys need. Thanks.
My name is Milton Reed, and I am here representing Mayor Anthony Copeland, who could not be here today at this wonderful event in conjunction with the School City of East Chicago, as well as the North Township Trustee. And I have to tell you, this is absolutely a phenomenal event. And for those of you out there viewing, if you have a child with special needs, definitely get involved with this program. The Mayor's Office is 100% in support of this programming with resources and whatever is needed to make this successful. And certainly this is something that should have national newsworthiness. And even though it may not make national news, we can start having impact and doing something right here, right now. So on behalf of Mayor Anthony Copeland, who I spoke with direct, and he says definitely be involved, and his office is fully available and fully in support of all the needs to make this program a continued success. Thank you.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank the City of East Chicago, Mayor Copeland. I want to thank the School City of East Chicago and Special Needs Department. And I want to thank Gilda Orange and Justin Orange and the police chief for allowing us to advocate for people with autism. So today's program was specifically to be able to bridge the communities of all the services that the police department offers and with the autism community. So what we're doing is we're reducing any chance of an escalation when police arrive at someone's home who has special needs. They will be identified through dispatch that that home has someone with special needs. We've trained the police department and we've trained the families, and so we are working together to make sure that there are a de-escalation of those situations. So all of these communities and entities are coming together to make sure that as policemen are entering homes of special needs where there's an escalated situation, that the policemen are safe and that the families are safe. And so that is our greatest outcomes. And we work with dispatch. We also are providing identifying bracelets for people who want to participate with special needs, so that if someone has a situation, they have an identification marker with them, so that the police department knows where they live and how to best serve them. So this is a great thing that they call a collaborative effort with Mayor Copeland and his office, the City of East Chicago, the police department, the North Township Trustee's office, Gilda Orange, who came to me with this idea and advocated for her family to make sure that this works. So Gilda Orange and Justin Orange absolutely positively brought this to fruition, and to be honest, would not let me stop working on it. And so we're going to take this to the whole township, and we have started off in East Chicago, and we have great results and we have great outcomes. So this collective impact, or this collaborative effort, is going to help change lives and help advocate for people with special needs and autism here in the city that we love, East Chicago.